Google is on a mission to get girls interested in being computer programmers. The Made with Code initiative encourages young women to excel in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, or STEM. The key is getting girls interested in these subjects early. We are honored to have Florentina Spires join us on DC Breakdown. She is a STEM curriculum teacher at Howard University Middle School of Mathematics and Science. She's an Albert Einstein Distinguished Educator Fellow and a finalist for the Presidential Award for Science Teaching. I am truly honored and humbled to have you here. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Are the kids missing you since you're not at school right now?
Well, school is out right now.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. You know, when you're not in school anymore, don't have kids. It's all like they're always in school.
However, it's always a pleasure to visit the school again, and then the children run up to you and say how much they miss you.
No summer programs so far?
There is a summer program that's just begun, and of course I'm not a part of it just because I am serving at the National Science Foundation this year as an Albert Einstein Fellow.
So you're at the National Science Foundation now. We're going to talk about the kids in a minute. I'm just fascinated with you.
Yes.
So tell me about you getting this whole National Science Foundation.
Well, the Albert Einstein Fellowship is one that you apply for as an educator, and basically you have to demonstrate that you're an exceptional teacher in the classroom. And so it's a very distinguished award, and only 27 in my cohort was selected across the nation.
Wow.
And so we are coming from as far as Alaska, and then someone like myself who's a local here in the DC metro area. So we were assigned to different agencies, and we have the opportunity to weigh in on policy and educational structures that are actually being made in these different offices. So we are posted at NASA, the National Science Foundation, DOE, where else? And a couple of other places. But it's a phenomenal experience. NOAA is another location.
Yeah.
So all of these agencies that are actually focused in STEM and have a huge component for STEM education. And so what do teachers think, which I think is phenomenal in terms of trying to get from the grassroots, those folks who are doing things and doing great things with students, who have a record of doing great things with students, to get their input about how do they move forward in order to continue this path for progress in STEM education.
Do you find that STEM tends to attract more males than females?
Absolutely. I think traditionally it does, and I think that it was traditionally an area where boys were sought. And unfortunately, now we have a deficit as a result of it. So if we look at computer science and engineering, there's like a wealth of men who are still dominating that field. But the population are 50% women.
That's right.
So we've left behind. Now we're trying to play catch up with getting more girls and women in STEM.
And how are we doing in playing catch up?
Well, I guess it's varied, and so us at the grassroots levels, we are trying to definitely impart knowledge upon other educators, especially at the lower grades, to ensure that they actually have the training and the wherewithal in order to be able to implement STEM lessons in a classroom. Because traditional teaching is kind of, rows of kids in the classroom and not being engaged.
Which that whole model, by the way, is outdated.
It is truly
outdated. And especially with ADD and ADHD kids, they do better if they're standing up and,
and even interacting with each other. Because they feed off of each other.
That's right.
So that's really important, but a lot of teachers have not been trained. So one of the thoughts that I have is that teachers who are novice teachers, when they go in the classroom, they should continue with a relationship with their university so that they can find out what they're doing right and what they need to change in order to move forward with the program, so make some changes.
See, this is what a smart person can come up with. That is a great idea.
Yes. So
tell me about the females at Howard University Middle School. Tell me about the females in the STEM program. How many are there, would you say?
I would say that last year when I was teaching the 8th graders, I was teaching 6th, 7th, and 8th graders for the curriculum that I actually developed. And it's actually, for the 6th graders, it's probably more half and half. And then 7th grade, it's a little bit more, it's about the same, but in the 8th grade, it seems to be more girls.
Really?
Yeah, but I think there are influences that are really positive and models that should be actually thought about with other schools. For example, I am a STEM woman and I look like them, so I'm an African American woman. So this is inspirational for them. Another thing that I think...
and they see it's a reality. They see
reality.
what they can do with that degree. They see all the things you're accomplishing.
Yes, exactly. And they know I'm from here, so they're identifying with me on different levels. But also, we have an internship program where undergraduate students who are majoring in math, engineering, computer science are actually working with us. So I've always requested an engineering major to work with me, and most often it's been a woman. So that way that the students actually see that, oh wow, Miss Bethany is actually helping, and that's kind of cool. And so they're closer to her age. So it just really seems like more of a reality that this is reachable.
And it shows you there's not just one.
Yes.
Because you could be an anomaly.
Exactly.
There's two. If there's two, there's got to be three. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's all this stuff that goes on internally in their heads that, that gets them in the mind frame of, I can do this.
Exactly. And I started the National Society of Black Engineers club for the students.
Oh, great.
And so that's 6th, 7th, and 8th graders going to this particular club, and then we go to an annual convention every year, and I take them, and it's little old me with like 10 little babies.
Oh, that's so cute.
And it's a lot of fun, and we just have a really good time, and they learn about engineering in different ways, different components of engineering, disciplines of engineering, and they get, you know, that interest gets sparked, even if they don't have an interest, because I think it's also important for kids to know what they love and what they don't love, so that they channel all of their energy into the things that they really enjoy. So one of the other statistics is that by 7th grade, kids actually know what their interest areas are. So now we have to hone them. Once we help them identify them, we help them hone those skills. So we should always have a repository where kids and parents know what's out there for them, especially those programs that are inexpensive or don't cost anything.
Because that's the problem, is there's stuff out there.
There's stuff out there.
And people don't know about it, whether you're African American or not. I mean, you just don't know about it. And so it's good to have you here to plug these parents in who are hopefully watching and listening and wanting to take advantage of some of these programs. So tell us about some of the programs.
So there are many. There's Girls Inc. There's, you know, Google has programs. There are just so many around the area. A lot of the universities have programs.
So what should a parent do who's interested in getting her child involved?
I would urge every parent to just go online. Like if it's in your area, you can plug in the search engine, University of Maryland STEM education camps for your children, and then something's going to come up, and then it's a way to start, and then you'll see links to other things that will help you. So all Southern Maryland, I think there's a community college down there. They've had like a math forum. There's math counts. There's just so many opportunities in the DC metro area. And I also urge parents to always tap into the museums that are here in DC, because they're free.
That's right.
Many of them are free. Some of them have a nominal cost, but it's just so insignificant in terms of exposing your children to these kinds of opportunities. And that is how, because if you don't have the wherewithal as a parent to actually engage with them in the way that you feel confident, let someone else do it for you. So
Florentina Spires, you got some words of wisdom, and we thank you so much for being on the show, for what you do, for helping to train our girls in the STEM discipline. It is very important, and we appreciate your genius as well.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. One senator's fight to restore voting rights to some felons when DC Breakdown continues.